Hello everyone, this is Bryant with sfotsource.com, your premier guide to Six Flags Over Texas. We are here back at Six Flags Over Texas. The past week was super frozen and crazy here in DFW, but now it's warmed back up. It's in the 60s and it's a great day to be out at the park. So a few weeks ago on our social media accounts, we posted some new information about all the upgrades coming to Six Flags Over Texas for the 2023 season. So what better way to continue that talk than to actually come out here and point out all the things they're doing. Just take a look around, see if anything has started, and see if there's any updates about things that maybe they didn't tell us about. We'll also check out Aquaman Power Wave because they've made more progress on the theming of that. And we'll also talk about some new events that they have coming to the park. So let's head inside. And we made our way into the park, and no camera issues this time, so came in with the same exact stuff. But anyways, I think our first big kind of change is they used to have this little plaque out here that they put in the 2000s when the front gate was remodeled. That has been removed, so not sure why. Could be because of what was on it, but either way, it is gone. Let's move on. And right here in front of the Silver Star Carousel, we do have an advertisement for one of the brand new events we recently learned about, which is Scream Break. So they're going to have some of the haunts open, they'll have a scare zone, and this will be like a nighttime kind of twist on the Spring Break event. You can see the logo there, March 11th to 18th. And you can see there, it does require an additional fee. And once we have that information, we will post that at sfotsource.com. We have made our way up into the building that houses the Silver Star Carousel because one of the big things they are starting is a big refurbishment project on the carousel. And this year they are going to start with the deck. So this will get a brand new deck. And I do imagine as the next few seasons go on, they will work on more of this. All of these horses are hand carved. This carousel is actually from the 1920s. It was first in New York, so it's great to see that it's getting some love. It's a very historical piece right here. We have made our way into the park's Mexico section, and one of the park's iconic flat rides, El Sombrero, is over here. And you can see it's looking a little rough. I don't really think El Sombrero has been repainted since it was moved over here in 2006 when they did the Big Ten attractions expansion, but for 2023 El Sombrero will get a fresh new paint job, and it is much needed. We're excited to see El Sombrero looking nice and fresh once again. So on top of that spring break celebration, they will also celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and that's going to be definitely a little bit more of a contained event. So March 17th to 18th, you can go to the Boomtown bar or Casa de los Banderas in the Mexico section and celebrate St. Patrick's Day if you're, of age. And our first stop here in the Texas section is at Casa Magnetica, and the reason we're over here is because we have learned that in summer of 2023, they plan on bringing Casa Magnetica back. So it's had a rough kind of last year for sure. They did try to kind of reopen it during Fright Fest, but it didn't really seem to work too well. So hopefully summer 2023, it'll be ready to go, because it's definitely fun to have this classic attraction back. And also in the Texas section, next to this painting of Ben Affleck and his friends, you have the Rodeo Flat Ride. Now, Rodeo was installed for the 2006 season with the big 10-ride expansion, and we've learned that in 2023 it's going to get repainted. So these bulls are going to look nice and fresh, and we're really excited about it. We love all of the painting projects that are coming. It's definitely much needed. Gonna make the park look way nicer. Also here in the Texas section, you have the Pirates of Spelunker Cave Dark Ride, and they have kind of changed up the signage since we've been here. So you can see Pirates of Spelunker Cave is undergoing maintenance to repair damage from the flood that occurred in late 2022. Our technicians are working hard so that you can explore the wonders of Spelunker Cave later this season. So if there's any doubt about Pirates of Spelunker Cave, they are working on it, and they do plan on opening it in 2023, which is great news. And as we head towards the tower section, just wanted to point out, because when we were here last time it was dark, that they did put a new roof on this segment of Texas Gifts. Now, the one interesting thing is that Shop 6 is still closed. They've got it all tarped up, which makes me think they're doing some kind of remodeling or improvements in there. I'm not super convinced that it's going to come back as Shop 6, but we will wait and see what happens with that. And right under the oil derrick here in the tower section is the tower restrooms, and you can see these are blocked off, and that is because this is one set of restrooms that is being remodeled for 2023. So these restrooms will be nice and fresh in the coming months, and hopefully they kind of continue this, because nice restrooms is always a good thing. These small little details do really matter. So for all of you games people, here to the left of the Texas Arena, you had a handful of games. They had kind of a ladder game and this basketball game. These have all been kind of stripped out, so I don't know if they're just removing these completely, or maybe they're doing a refurb. I do believe you had like a kitty high striker right here, and then of course the ladder game was around the corner over here, and you can see it's been taken out completely. So kind of interesting. But we'll just have to wait and see if these are making their way back at some point. And also located here on the side of the Texas Arena is an updated calendar of events. You can see they've switched some things around. There used to be a Summer Vibes Festival and a Brew and Bites Festival that have been removed that were previously advertised, but we still have Viva La Fiesta, the two that we had already talked about. A brand new event called Summer Nights, which will be on Fridays and Saturdays in July, and looks like one in August. And then they have extended Best of Texas Festival to be a little over a month, I think, to kind of make up for the removal of the other summer planned events. And then you kind of have your usual suspects here with Fourth Fest. Coasterthon is in April this year. It's not in summer. So Fright Fest, Kids Boo Fest, Veterans Weekend, Holiday in the Park, and the New Year's Eve celebration. So plenty of things still to do for 2023. Across from Superman Tower of Power is one of your dining offerings, which is Newman's Cafe. And I don't think I've seen Newman's Cafe open since the big flood that the Pirates sign alluded to. So really nice to see that they've got this up and running, and that it's still an offering here in the park. I do think they had to do probably some major work on the inside to get this up and running. As we cross over into the Boomtown section, the basketball game here, Sorta by Runaway Mountain, is also completely stripped out. So maybe they're just doing a huge remodel of all the basketball games. It's pretty interesting, but I don't know, maybe these will look really nice and fancy when they're all done. The other major change that we have here in the Boomtown section is with Runaway Mine Train. Now, this coaster was originally built in the 1960s and is considered the first mine train roller coaster in existence. And you can see there's a sign out here explaining what's going on. They are actually upgrading the operating system for this whole ride. I know people have been really concerned about Runaway Mine Train being closed, but they are doing some big time maintenance to keep this ride going for future generations. So this is expected to open later in the spring, maybe early summer. We'll have to wait and see. And it'll be back and better than ever. So we're very excited that they are doing some much needed TLC on this ride. It is important to note that the Six Flags Railroad is currently down for refurbishment. Probably just the standard scheduled maintenance that they do each year, but no timeline on when that finishes. The other big restroom remodel, however, is going to be happening here in Boomtown with the Boomtown restrooms. They are still open as of the filming of this, but I assume once those tower restrooms are ready, they will close these ones and get started. I'm sure they don't want to close multiple restroom locations, though. I'm noticing another game gone. So this was one of those inflatable ladder games, but over here, this whole games midway is shut down. So really curious what's going on. We'll have to get a closer look. So yeah, you can kind of see the whole games midway here in Gotham City is closed off. And we'll try to kind of look over the fence. They have just kind of gutted this. So you can see maybe this is just a big project they're working on, getting new games, turning it into something else. You know, admittedly, these buildings over here kind of a little rough, you know. But yeah, even that whole building over there is completely tarped off. So hopefully this is something good that's coming. Just to kind of give you all another look, it does look like all these games are gutted. So my assumption would be just a big remodel project to make all of this stuff look a little bit better, a little bit fresher. But time will tell. There hasn't really been any announcement on this stuff. Also here in Gotham City, you have the Batman the Ride, which is their inverted steel coaster. And we've also learned that this will be kind of the third major ride-related paint job this year. So you can expect Batman the Ride to have some brand new paint very soon. And they also have teased that they will enhance some of the queue theming. We don't have details on that, but when all of this takes place, we'll have to do a big tour and see what has changed. Very exciting stuff. Over here in the newer Gotham City section, you have the Joker, which is the 40 SNS free spin coaster, and they have a fun little sign out. The Clown Prince of Crime has struck again, and the Joker coaster is closed for seasonal maintenance. We expect this attraction to reopen later this spring. So I really appreciate that they have all of this transparent signage because, you know, there has been a lot of criticism about staffing and things like that. So, you know, most of the rides have been open. Most of the food places have been open. But there is seasonal maintenance that does have to happen because they are in year-round operations. And this is probably about as good of a shot as we're going to get. But one of the other big projects they're doing is a beautification along the roadway. So that fence behind the Joker will receive kind of some enhanced foliage and plants, things like that, and things that we were told are much more friendly with the Texas summer climate. And they will be doing this at the main 6 lanes entrance as well. And we've come up the backside back into the USA section near Texas Sky Screamer, and here at Judge Roy's Scream we've got another fun seasonal maintenance sign. This classic wooden roller coaster is undergoing track replacement and seasonal maintenance. We expect Judge Roy's Court to be back in session later this spring. Very clever, very fun, and just like they said, lots of track replacement going on here. You could see it from the main entrance to the park. They are chugging away full force out there, even on a Sunday.
Welcome to the very top of Texas skyscraper.
We've wrapped our way around, kind of heading towards Bugs Bunny Boomtown, and we did show this in one of our Holiday in the Park videos, but since it's daytime, you can really get a look at it now, and you can just see they've built a structure around what looks like it's probably a filtration system or a pump house, but you can also see some of the queue over there, and this is for Aquaman Power Wave. We will go around the front just to get a better look. And we're now on the side of the ride. This is kind of a fun shot just because you can see the boat sitting on the turntable, and once this ride's running, this will be a really fun shot. Now that they've taken down construction fences, you can really get a good grasp of what's going on with Aquaman. So right in front of us is a little spur, and this is basically like a maintenance area for the boats. When you come around this way, you can see the boat that we had already showed you, which is basically the position to be launched. And then, of course, the other side of the turntable is right in front of us, and you can see the second boat there. And this is where they will load and unload people, and while they're doing that, the other boat will be in the cycle. So it does make it kind of interesting because the station is bumped right into the pathway, but you know, overall this is a really good decision. And with all the construction walls down, you get a nice front shot of the station and the loading area. You can see the boat there. This is where you'll queue up to get onto the ride. You've got the control panel over that way. You'll be able to high five everyone that's walking on the normal path. And over here it looks like theming is in progress. You can see the queue line there in the background, but then we've got a frame which will likely be for some kind of Aquaman related signage, probably like an informational sign. And there's also a rock out front. So maybe some kind of statue or some other kind of just centerpiece here near the entrance to the ride. We'll have to wait and see. And perhaps the most exciting part of the construction progress, beyond the actual ride itself, is the fact that the Aquaman sign and entrance portal is now here. And I know this isn't going to show up on video, but it is actually like pulsating right now. The lights in the sign. It's kind of interesting to see what it's going to do. And then, of course, you can see the main entrance. I'm sure one of these is regular line, probably to the left. To the right is probably your flash pass line. And they've also even put out a test seat. So looks like they are still doing some electrical and things like that. But you will be able to see if you can fit in the ride prior to waiting in the line, which is always good. I also wanted to point out they do have, you know, these retaining walls for the water because the splash is so huge and it's such a tight fit, but it does look like they are painting that retaining wall blue, which is definitely a big step up from the just kind of like the bare steel and metal that they had there. All right, everyone, that does it for this visit to Six Flags Over Texas. Very pleasant day, tons of rides open. Any of the rides that were closed, it was pretty obvious why, with the great refurbishment signs, and just knowing that there's all kinds of improvements coming for the 2023 season is great. I know this park gets a lot of criticism because they don't, you know, market and throw out all of the things they're working on, but they are working on lots of things to make the park as good as they can. It's also awesome to see this new Scream Break event that's coming. I'm really excited about this, and like I said, once we know the pricing on that, we will put that on sfotsource.com. It just kind of popped up over the last few days, so I'm sure they're still working out the details, but I am sure we will find out more very soon. I'm also excited about all the other events, the return of Best of Texas, the summer nights. Those are fun things to look forward to, especially as we get into the summer where things kind of lull out. It'll be fun to come out here and do those things. And of course, we have Aquaman Power Wave, which is looking like it's there. You know, obviously the weather is a little bit colder right now, but I really think we're looking at a spring opening for Aquaman Power Wave. Doesn't look like there's a lot to do. We know the ride runs because we were out here watching it test, and I just think all of the little small bits and pieces they're still working on will be done here very quickly. If y'all have any questions about Six Flags Over Texas, make sure to let us know in the comments below. And any of the construction stuff that we cover out here, we typically post a photo update on sfotsource.com. So if you want a little bit more of an in-depth look, I would go check that out as well. You can access those updates from the home page. We thank y'all for watching. Take care. We'll see you soon.